ICC is going to be the hardest raid we've ever experienced in World of Warcraft Classic, but it's also going to be one of the most fun and enjoyable experiences we've ever had, where we're finally getting some real mechanics that are a little bit more intricate and a little bit more rewarding, and you're also going to feel kind of like a god at the end when you're super geared. So here's my breakdown of what my opinions are on the first day of ICC on the PTR. Now first, I want to say there were some class changes today. Hunter's getting an awesome buff where they are now getting a trap launcher, healers getting buffed, and demonology warlocks also getting buffed. But with Icecrown Citadel, we will actually see a release of all 5 wings at one time. All 12 bosses should launch on the actual release date, as well as the heroic modes. Just like in Trial of the Grand Crusader, we can actually switch between the normal mode and heroic mode in the middle of the fights. Now we will have a total of 50 attempts for all of Icecrown Citadel Heroic. This is going to be pretty intense for most guilds that are progressing. You might not be able to do it for quite a while, and this is where we're going to see the most limitation. We probably will see a 10 attempt timer on Lich King, but I was not able to get to Lich King today. And another thing I want to mention really quickly is Shadowmourne is going to be a lot easier to get, guys. We're going to see a lot quicker and a lot more people having Shadowmourne. That's because Shadowfrost shards, which you needed to be on the quest to get, no longer needs you to have a player on that quest itself for them to drop. We were seeing them drop in normal and heroic mode as I tested both of these, but at the end bosses of every wing, that is Saurfang, Lanathel, Putricide, Cindergosa, and the Lich King, all of these will 100% drop one of these. So you're getting at least 5 of these a week. This is going to make it a lot easier to get your Shadowmourne, and you can start this part of the quest early. Also, Primordial Serenites will be available on the vendor as well as available through Titan Rune Gamma. So the Defense Protocol Gamma, we will be able to finally get a ton of those Primordial Serenite. They won't end up costing a bajillion gold in your GDKP. Now onto the actual raid itself. You can see in the background, this is just the group getting ready to go into the first boss, Lord Marogar. Even Lord Marogar, the first boss for Heroic, was actually wiping most groups that went in here. This is definitely an instance of it wiping most pugs for quite a while for some pugs, but it was wiping most groups, and the reason is because it's just something that takes a little bit more time to get used to. It's not necessarily a stopgap for most players. It's not going to be the one that pugs won't be able to do. You'll absolutely be able to go in with your random group or your guild and be able to clear Lord Marogar week 1 on Heroic. Now you need 2 to 3 tanks. You need a little bit of coordination, and I'm going to skip forward a little bit until the pull is about to happen. And you also just need people to kind of do their job. This is one of the raids where it's the first time where if someone says you need to stop DPS in the boss and DPS other things, you need to actually do that. Don't stand in the fire and cast. You can see 3 people are dead already, and I'm pretty sure I checked later that there was like 5 seconds of people standing in this fire. Now the fire here on Lottie right now, who's actually bone spiked, is terrifying, but you need all of your melee to turn and kill the bone spikes. Unholy decays are terrible for this, but you probably should if you're in a pug anyways. As you notice, I didn't here on the opener, but you should be focusing all of the boss mechanics. Now week 1 or progression in general for most guilds is going to take quite a while, but you want to actually focus the mechanics more than just pumping. Now this has always been a thing for progression, but it's been something most people probably forgot because Trial of the Grand Crusader was just that easy. It really was. We were able to 50-50 pugs day 1 on, like, we did 7 GDKPs that 50-50'd it. It's such an easy raid. Now we're instantly getting a step up. Lord Marogar is easier than a noob Heroic, but the first boss after Lord Marogar is absolutely harder than a noob Heroic. And that is going to be, I can skip forward forever because we wiped on this for a minute and a half. That is going to be Lady Deathwhisper. Lady Deathwhisper is already gonna be a stopgap where most groups are gonna swap to normal mode just to move on. Literally, this is a fight that is probably harder than a noob Heroic already. And that just means that most groups don't need to deal with this. If you're in a guild that's doing progression, don't waste your time here. I think this is not one of the fights that you're really gonna see a ton of progression early on. Get people used to the fight by doing normal mode, and then you can actually move past this fight and do other things. Now, we had some strategies that are like kind of the dad strat where you can absolutely get through phase 1 every single time without losing anyone. A really easy way of doing this is to tank the ads all the way back here, barely dealing damage to the boss. Make sure you deal with the ads first and then going back to the boss. This is gonna take a lot longer, but if you're progressing, this is a lot easier of a strategy to be able to just kill the boss right away. I would suggest if your guild is a Zerg guild, one of those Zug-Zugs, then you just LOS behind these pillars right here and your healers over here as well, and all of the ads would group up instantly. But the fear is there's a mind control that goes out, and if you can't hesitate on doing more damage, then you're just gonna end up killing all of your friends, and it's just not worth it. You kind of need the DPS for phase 2. It's really, really helpful. Now for loot ship, this is actually a fight, let me see, oh, that's after Saurfang. Loot ship is a fight that's unbelievably easy. If I move forward, loot ship is a fight that's extremely easy. You even see me dead there. If you just explain the fight to people, it is such a simple fight. Everyone will be able to do it on heroic. So all you need to do is whenever the mage comes out and starts casting below 0 and freezes your guns, hop over, kill that, have a tank, pick up Muradin if you triggered Muradin, and then go back. That's literally it. It's the simplest fight in here completely. Now Saurfang is another fight that's going to take you a lot of work. So instantly, again, there's 2 fights in the very first wing that are going to take you so much effort that most guilds probably won't kill Saurfang week 1. Honestly, most guilds won't. You can just do it on normal mode. This is the nice thing about this raid. Now it is extremely challenging, but you can always just switch to normal mode. And if you want a sheet that is being built out right now that will have pretty much everything you guys will need, and let me hide my face right now. This sheet from Cosmophile is a work in progress that will be really nice for guilds, and he's really, really solid at building out these sheets where you have your assignments, what you're doing, what your positions are gonna be, how everything looks, Deathbringer, Saurfang, all of the mechanics. Let me just go show that, and how you are gonna position and deal with everything. This is going to be the harder ones, the later fights he's building out right now, but this is absolutely something you're gonna wanna have, is gonna have a sheet where you can break down all of your assignments. So I'll have a link to that in the description as well. But guys, this fight, this raid, don't let it daunt you. Go into the PTR, test it out, have fun. You're gonna get so much more powerful. Every class gets so much more powerful, except for Unholy DI, in this raid. Your gear is phenomenal. You're gonna get juiced up, and you're gonna be a lot stronger in the next few weeks as you're doing it. So don't be a little dismayed, but first opinions, this raid is gonna destroy guilds that try heroic. It's gonna absolutely dominate them. And I personally have done this raid many times on harder, I would say, versions of this raid, trying to emulate it being like this, but I think you would really benefit from getting to see some practice. And I think a lot of guilds are gonna wanna do it on normal mode first and then go into hard mode. This is something I suggested for Ulduar as well, and it's all about your callouts, raid leading, and understanding the fight. So being able to take a week to just absolutely clear the raid will be really nice. Now I'll have full breakdowns of the bosses, I'll have more in-depth reviews of this, and a full breakdown of my opinions coming soon as I full clear the raid and do more tests run there with my guild. And then this weekend or Friday, we will have a podcast episode with Jordy to break down the raid and give you as many opinions as we have, how every class is going to perform, what are the hard fights, what are some mechanics, what things you can look out for. Anyways, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all on the next one, and congrats to all the classes that got buffed. Congrats to the people that on this server got Deathbringer's Will, because it's hilarious and it's epic to see. It's such a fun trinket, and I'll see you guys all on the next one.